Hello, guys. It's me, Butterfly Spirit 314. So, guys, this morning I decided I would come out and do a little bit of yard work. And I decided to do it because I felt like there were a lot of overgrown vines and bushes and stuff in my backyard. And I was able to cut enough to the point where I was able to basically get to the rose bush back here, which is real pretty and everything and stuff. I wasn't able to see it when there was all the overgrown brush and stuff. So I'll show you guys a little bit of what I cut down. So this was like some overgrown brush. So I went ahead and cut this down here and stuff. And over here where the fence is, this was covered where I couldn't even see it. Okay. I couldn't even see like my neighbor's fence over here. So much brush back here. So that's why there's like this huge big pile right here because I cut all that down myself. So let's just say I guess I was on a mission. So one reason I cut down the brush over here next to my garage is because I don't want somebody to be hiding behind the brush as tall as it was and stuff. So I went ahead and just cut all that down till I got to my pretty rose bush and everything and stuff. And then basically I went and I pulled down some vines along the fence here. And then I pulled down some vines over here, as you can see. So I pulled some vines. That's why it's on the ground here, because I pulled all this down along here and stuff. And wait for that to dry out. Then I'll throw it away. Pull that down from the fence. And I pulled this down here too. And I cut some of that down as well and stuff. And one thing I do want to say about yard work, these are some more vines I pulled down from the fence and everything here. And some here. So one thing I will say is I know there's a lot of women out there who may be intimidated about doing yard work themselves, whether it's cutting down vines or pulling vines or cutting the grass. But the thing is ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, it's important if you have a house to do some yard work and stuff, because when you take care of your yard and stuff, it shows people that you care about it. Otherwise you can end up getting fined by the place, like the city you live in and stuff, you know. And there have been, when I've been cutting the grass sometimes, there are some ladies who will, be driving by and be looking at me with their nose kind of turned up or something. Or there'll be some ladies who say, oh, I wouldn't dare do yard work. I won't dare do that because, that's a man's job. Well, when I was growing up, I used to feel like I didn't want to do yard work either, but I seen my mom doing yard work. And for a long time, I didn't want to do it. And once I got to living into a house, then I had to go and start doing yard work. So, ladies, just because, you feel like, you may feel embarrassed doing yard work. You may feel like, oh, it's not for me. Well, let's say you don't feel like getting out there and doing yard work. Well, if you ain't got no money, saves you a lot of money to do yard work yourself. Now, if you can't do yard work and you have like a disability or something, injury or something, you can always pay people to do it. I like to do yard work myself because I like to have my yard kind of turn out in a simple way. And I like to see the accomplishment of the things that I'm doing, So that's something for me that I like to do and stuff. And it saves me money. It may take time, but in the long run, it saves me some money and stuff to be able to do things, especially cutting the grass. I mean, all I got to do is pay for a gallon of gas at the gas station and put the gas in there and cut the grass. And I get the yard cut. Now, I got to cut this grass, but I cut it back some weeks ago, but it rained. But, by and large, I like my grass cut a certain way. And when I get around to cutting it, of course, I cut it before I get my hair done. Therefore, my hair doesn't sweat back and be sweaty like it is right now. Luckily, tomorrow I'm going to get my hair done. But, a woman can still be feminine and ladylike, even if she's doing yard work, even if she's cutting the grass, even if she's raking, cleaning up her yard. Woman is still feminine. Does it make her masculine if she's, taking care of her yard? Because how somebody takes care of their yard, whether they're man or woman, that tells you a lot. It can tell you a lot about their, character, their personality, who they are, how they view themselves and different things. I just view yard work as being something that, eventually it's got to be done, but I think it's important to do, even for ladies. And I don't want ladies to be embarrassed about doing yard work and feeling like they can't do yard work because they're afraid of what people will think. Sometimes I get subconscious when people are watching me cut the grass or whatever, But the thing is, I feel is that, once I'm done, I get to see the job well done that I did. And I can say, look at that. I cut that grass. Look at that. I went and pulled those vines or cut back that brush and stuff like that and stuff. And I get to just appreciate what I got to do. And so I think that's a really important thing, and stuff. And I know there's going to be ladies out there who are going to say, well, I wouldn't dare do that. Well, it's okay. Hey, everybody has their perspective. But I just love, I like doing yard work because I think it's important. Also, I think it's cool for couples to do yard work too together, because I think if you have a couple and they do yard work together, that's teamwork, and that helps you guys like build things together. And you know, if you could tackle a yard, you can tackle any problem that may come you guys' way. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Bye bye.